com. And what's your name, sir?
This is Evan Blair from ZeroFox.
ZeroFox.com. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys do?
So ZeroFox is the leader in social media security for the enterprise.
Oh, boy, this is exciting. This is a new one.
It is indeed.
All right, tell me all about that. I got 9 social media sites. I need some advice.
I jumped.
You definitely need some security, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Social media is the biggest business platform that's out there. Yet there's no security that can be wrapped around it with traditional security
No,
technologies.
there isn't. That's right. Yeah.
So that's where ZeroFox comes in. We provide an enterprise-grade platform that allows organizations to continuously monitor, identify, and remediate risks that are impacting their business, their customers, their data, and their employees.
Per social media site, right? So,
Absolutely.
And all companies have social media. So you're kind of helping prevent hacking of that password for that site or abuse of the system or employees saying something, or how's it work?
Yeah, sure. So there's 3 main things or categories of things that we do. Right? Protecting the corporate accounts and the corporate assets on social media. Those are the accounts. It's the same thing that we did with websites back in the 90s, wrapping security around them and continue to do. You wouldn't have an unsecured website as a security professional.
Yeah.
So why are you going to have an unsecured Facebook account or Twitter account?
Yeah.
Especially when those accounts are used to engage with customers directly, often do support, and even do generate revenue.
Right.
Additionally, you've got the external threat factor. People using your brand name, impersonating your organization or your executives, targeting your customers with fraud or scams, and these cost your organization millions of dollars in remediation and costs long term. Lastly, and most importantly in the security industry, employees. Employees are the gateway to our networks, to our data. And if you read any of the media reports about what Russia did with the social media attacks against the DoD and all the other attacks that have been well documented after that, targeting individuals on Twitter and on LinkedIn and Facebook is very easy because there's an inbuilt trust in those platforms, and people, all they have to do is click on a link. And if you learn about those people by reading their tweets, by reading their profile, it's very easy to compromise them. And our own research shows that about 70% of people fall victim to targeted attacks on social media. So those are the 3 big buckets of things we do. We also have the ability to help organizations protect physical locations or executives as they travel by leveraging data and machine learning to identify risk. We also have the ability to provide industry compliance support, an extension of DLP technology by looking for data that's being posted illegally or unauthorized manners across social, the deep web, and other various, I would call them like social web-like sites.
So last year, before Black Hat, my website got hacked. I was told that's a little welcome card. Hello, thanks for coming. They didn't do too much damage, right? And then later in the year, my Facebook account got hacked, and how I noticed was it said, here's the 100 new friends you added. And I go, no, I don't know who that chick is in Romania, but that's not my friend. And I turned it off immediately. Mm-hmm. I could not get back on there for 2 months because Facebook said, well, this was you. No, that wasn't me. You know, it was very difficult to get back online. And, you know, I'm all over the place on 9 social media sites. That's my business. I have to do it. But I'm pretty diligent about different passwords for every site. And still, I know there's attempts. And now I've taken off, you know how big I am on LinkedIn, right? 21,000 followers.
Yes.
I'm starting to take back some of this information. Hey, where'd you go to high school? What did you do? You know what? I don't need a 100% profile. Right. I need a 10% profile. Right? So these are some of the things you advise on. It's not only the wrapping it in security protection, but you actually talk to clients about, how to build a profile that nobody wants to steal, right? It's minimal, maybe aliases, things like that.
Yeah, so we think about social media as the great communication enabler, right? We use social media in our business and in our personal lives more than any other technology. So we want to help people use social media to its fullest extent in a secure fashion. So actually, I wouldn't necessarily advocate reducing your profile.
Okay.
I would advocate implementing, from an enterprise perspective, a social media protection tool that can lock accounts, that can keep them safe from compromise, even if a password's stolen. We certainly recommend hygiene when it comes to 2-factor authentication and other authentication measures therein. But no, we want people to use social media, and that's part of the value of ZeroFox, is that we help organizations enable social use because it's a business benefit and it's a business value. So we don't want people to turn it off or go away. That's actually the worst thing you could do, because if you don't have an actual presence on social media, it's very easy for me to create an impersonating profile or a fraudulent account, because there's no, control to say, oh, this isn't real, here's the real one. So for all intents and purposes, I am the real you.
Right.
And so we want people to be diligent about monitoring and identifying what people are doing out there as it relates to them and their business, their executives, and the key stakeholders in their organization, as well as safeguarding their customers as they interact with their brand, with their business on these social channels.
You mentioned the cost to an enterprise if it's duplicated, if there's impersonation. Mm-hmm. Could you speak to the analysis, or actually I would say the awareness and training for your clients in terms of the equity value. So for example, a study has shown that for a financial services firm, that attacks, including social media attacks, could actually result in a 10% drop in their valuation. How do you help the clients understand those risks as well?
So asking a security guy about ROI, that's always a fun one, right? It's a challenge in our industry, right? Security has so long been focused on closing things off, or at least perceived to be making business harder to accomplish, right? Because you have more layers to jump through, more hoops to go through before you can send something or engage with someone. And so that's not what we want to do, right? But we want to help organizations understand the value of social media to their business, and most organizations have those numbers internally, right? And so we actually advocate bringing in the marketing team or the brand leadership team to the security conversation to help drive the process. Because you wouldn't wrap website security around the marketing site if you didn't have their involvement, right? It's going to be a collaborative effort. And I think this goes to the thing that we see in our industry, where this is becoming a business problem rather than a technology problem. And the security decisions are being pushed down from the board level, from the CEO level, and that's a good thing. And I think with social media, the impact on the board and on the revenue and on the operations as a whole really helps elevate that conversation, and not just bringing to light social media as a problem and a security gap that needs to be filled, but also helping drive the conversation for broader cybersecurity use cases and employee awareness and employee training on the right hygiene, the right steps, and the right things to do, and when to raise your hand and say, this doesn't look right, we need to address this. So ROI is a challenge. In one instance, the financial services market, again, we identified a specific type of scam called money flipping. It was occurring on Instagram. We released a research report around Black Hat last year, and we identified we're costing hundreds of millions of dollars for financial services firms to remediate the issue with their clients, because we all have fraud guarantees with our banks. Right. We're frauded or scammed on social media. There's a real financial cost, direct cost, to the financial services firm to replace the money that I was scammed away from, or I was defrauded from.
What was that? Talk about that scam for our viewers that haven't heard about it. What was that scam?
Yeah, so it's called money flipping. And so money flipping is it's a targeted attack against followers of specific financial institutions. And they typically target followers of certain that have certain criteria. The scams that we were looking at had a high propensity to target military and military family members.
Oh, interesting.
There's if you look at some of the offers that military members often get from financial services firms, they seem really good, or too good to be true sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's just what our service members receive from real institutions. However, if you use that as kind of your baseline for an attack, I can send, hey, here's this opportunity. You give me $100 with, and I'll take it out of your account. I need your login credentials to whichever bank, and then you take the money out, and I'm going to flip it into $1,000 for you. It's a simple process if you have a XYZ bank account. And people fall for it all the time.
Oh my God, veterans, how sad.
It is. It's targeting and it was targeting people that were in dire financial straits.
Yeah.
That are more willing to try anything to support themselves.
Well, and this is the plight of some veterans. You get out of the Army, Navy, and you go, what am I going to do? I don't have a job yet, a career. Well, that's terrible.
Awful.
But you guys identify that and help?
We did, and we worked with Instagram to help take care of
Yeah.
it. So it's a wide-ranging scam, not nearly as big as the 90,000 porn spam bots that we discovered and broke the news with Brian Krebs, but recently. But it was still a very wide-ranging scam, and cost banks and our customers millions of dollars. And so working with Instagram and Facebook and the other social media platforms is part of what we do as well, because we're not here to just say that there's bad stuff. We're here to help take care of that bad stuff. And we do it on behalf of our customers, but we partner with the social networks to help them continue to have a safe environment for business engagement and their customers to engage freely.
I'm feeling really good. At the end of every conversation, I feel good or bad about it. And I feel like, wow, we're being protected. That's good. Now, Evan, what keeps you awake tonight? What do you worry about?
So I'm worried about the increasing proliferation of social media as a individual business communication tool, and the lack of security.
Okay.
And it's a gateway into our networks. It's a gateway to compromise us. And we saw it again, I mentioned it earlier, with the Russian attack, and Time Magazine covered it extensively. But targeting DoD employees as a gateway into the DoD's classified networks on Twitter, nonetheless. That was a big challenge. And that's a big security gap that we're not filling in mass, right? The market is moving here. We're moving rapidly. ZeroFox is growing significantly, and our customer base continues to grow. However, more organizations need to make cybersecurity around social media a number one priority.
Interesting.
If you think about it, in all the other areas, we've got multiple layers. But in social media, we have 0 layers. If you talk about network security, data security, email security, web security, there's multiple products in everybody's security arsenal focused on adding a layered defense. But social media has 0. There's 0 security, there's 0 protection, and that's a big problem.
I'm not feeling good now. But nonetheless,
Multi-factor
Evan Blair,
authentication.
ZeroFox.com at Black Hat 2017 on SecurityGuideTV.com. Stand by for the next interview. We got 30 more to go today, the last day of Black Hat. Thanks for tuning in. Black Hat. Thanks for tuning in. Black Hat. Thanks for tuning in. Black Hat. Thanks for tuning in.